White against the #1 seed Seattle Mixtape, who's in pursuit of the Triple Crown. Earlier, AMP a 15-11 winner over BFG, ensuring it will not be an all-Seattle final. Mixtape is the 206's last hope here in 2017 in Sarasota. It's been a long but exciting day of Ultimate here in Florida. With Megan Tormey, I am Evan Leffler, and primetime action features two teams that don't need much of an introduction. Mixtape hasn't been around for that long, but they've created quite a pedigree, and Slow White, a perennial power in this mixed division.
Mixtape has made a name for themselves very early and have maintained that high degree of pedigree, but this season notched themselves above by some few clutch additions and some changes to the way they run their program. And Slow White has been great the entire time, and we're seeing them at the top of their game again.
Well, Boston's Slow White hoping to dethrone Seattle's Triple Crown quest and try to win a second championship for themselves. They've been around for a long time. They had been to the Final Four before, but last year was the first time under Marshall Golf they got to the top of the mountain, and one of the big reasons why they could repeat, and that's the handler, Jeff Smith.
He is a sure-handed handler who maintains a calm presence, even though he's a very fiery player. You'll see him make clutch plays, make the right throws. He always seems to be doing the exact right thing for Slow White. It really helps elevate Slow's level of play.
He was Ulti-World's Player of the Year in the mixed division a year ago. For Seattle Mixtape, they've been building towards this type of season. They played great, beat Dragon Thrust on their home turf in Minneapolis back in August, and then won on their home turf in Seattle Labor Day weekend, early September. Mark Burton just might be the 2017 Mixed Division Player of the Year.
Mixtape is very good at using their full roster, but I think you'll see that Mark Burton helps make the final difference whenever necessary. He's one of the most dynamic players I have ever seen. He really can do it all. Make great throws,
The USA Ultimate National Championships are presented by Discraft Ultrastar. Find the official disc of USA Ultimate at more than 1,900 U.S. retail locations. The USA Ultimate National Championships are presented by Discraft Ultrastar. Find the official disc of USA Ultimate at more than 1,900 U.S. retail locations. Under the lights here in Florida, Boston Slow White with the dynamic Lexi Salk. Tanner Johnson's pretty special downfield as well. Todd Herman is their leading goal scorer at 2017 Nationals. Anyo Smith and Trahey, capable handlers for Marshall Goff. Seattle Mixtape, led by Burton. Jesse Bolton has been very good in a variety of roles for this team, with Hauser, Abramovich, and Fong doing plenty of good work as well. 80 degrees, it has cooled off from the upper 80s as it was earlier, and the wind has died down a little bit. That flag doesn't necessarily tell the story. I was down on the field about 25 minutes ago, and it was as vicious as that flag would make you believe, especially when you're on the far side of the field and the bleachers block that breeze a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like 15 miles per hour is when the wind starts to make a difference. It's crazy to think a few degrees can make that big of a difference, but this is going to be a calmer game than we've seen so far.
Seattle Mixtape beginning on offense. It's worth mentioning Seattle is missing a few of their key players. Claire Revere unlikely to play because of a concussion. Drew Johnson has a knee that's been bothering her. And Dom Cavallero, who's been very important for Mixtape throughout the season, he is also out with a knee injury. Mixtape turnover gives Boston a chance for an early break. Miles Montgomery Butler was so critical a year ago in his distributing in big spots. addition to the Slow White roster this year. That disc does not float enough, and Slow White gives Mixtape an early gift. Mixtape hasn't lost a ton of games this season, but Slow White has beaten them a couple of times. Including Mixtape's ugliest performance of the season, a 15-8 result at the U.S. Open.
I was really impressed when talking with Marshall Goff about that particular game. He said, I'm not really going to think about that game. I know that wasn't Mixtape's usual style of play. I'm not going to let that figure into how I decide to approach tonight's
Here's the turnover from Montgomery Butler, looking for Pat Barron in the end zone, and at the other end, Kai Yi Fong shaking free of his defender in the end zone. Lonnie Wynn picks up the assist. One thing Mixtape might do in this game, missing a few players who have been big for them on offense, is still try to rely on their female players, like Lonnie Wynn, and Bert Abbott, Jen Cogburn.
Mixtape is very proud of their program and very proud of their depth from top to bottom, regardless of gender. So I think you're right, Evan. They're going to use everyone in their arsenal, regardless of gender, to try and notch this win above Slow White.
Number 1 seed, they went 3-0 through Pool A, beat Mischief fairly easily. Tightest game, obviously, Universe Point against Wild Card in the quarters. Wild finish led by Khalif El Salam, who had 2 Ds on Universe Point. El Salam on the sidelines this point. Tanner Johnson. Still just 20 years old. He won't be 21 until next March. The acrobatic Cam Bailey bouncing around defensively on Johnson.
Good ball.
Winner of this game takes on Billy Amp for the 2017 title. Vicky Chang over the top, daring shot, perfectly done. Tanner Johnson at the back of the end zone, hauls it in for Boston's Slow White.
Tanner Johnson in the Slow White score. We're all tied up at 1.
That's a heck of a shot. I still think Mixtape has to be proud of the defensive pressure that made that the option for Vicky Chang. It's nice to know she has that in her arsenal, but to me that's a sign of things not working out exactly as they planned offensively. Coach Goff was saying going into this game, they wanted to work on keeping the ball in motion. They think they will beat Mixtape if they can keep their game a little bit shorter, use the entirety of the field, and avoid situations like we just saw where the defense gets to suck in and dictate where they're putting their throws.
Mixtape is a team that likes to play a daring style. So if you rely on the crossfield hammer most of the time, you're kind of playing into their hands. Slow White had a tight game against BFG, but won it 15-13 to finish undefeated in their pool. Back in the semifinals yet again. The 3rd straight year in the semis for Boston's Slow White. Believe it or not, that's the longest active streak in the mixed division. Minneapolis Dragon Thrust had made it every year from 2012 to 2016, but that 5-year run is now over. As Slow White ended Dragon Thrust season on this field yesterday. A game that Slow White really jumped on Dragon early. Went a 5-1 in that game and basically were in control the rest of the way.
That's Hauser's put to Kircher. It looked like perhaps there was a foul called.
Foul call is overruled by the observer at the mixtape turnover.
Yeah, Brad, my boy's good! Yeah, Brad, you're fine there!
Chris over to Slow White.
So the turnover stands.
Chris White got the pickup.
Chris Waite had a big role a year ago in Slow White's run to the title. Beat Dragon Thrust in the semis and then surpassed Metro North in the final. Krieger flips it downfield. Ryan Turner. Turner's been a nice addition to Slow White this year as well.
Yeah, he's a very quick, athletic player. You saw him working really hard to shake free of Burton to get that open cut under.
Oh, through the chest of Sean Krieger. It looked like he had it in his hand and it went in his chest, and he took the brunt with a face plant into the paint. Ouch.
It was a really uncomfortable looking layout.
Intended for Fisher, and then he was called off by Krieger, and
Does an awkward somersault.
cannot feel good. The somersault without the salt. That's a candidate for the Sports Center not top 10. Hopefully Sean's all right. Uncomfortable landing for sure. Nicely done, Brad Hauser towing the line. This is Burton, chased by Waite. Burton rips, looking for Hauser. Turner defending. Hauser's got it.
Here we go, Black.
Mixtape with a hold. And it's 2-1. Just a small glimpse of what Mark Burton is capable of.
Well said. That was an excellent put. Read perfectly by Hauser. Not too much you can do about that. Turner was definitely in pursuit, but out of position. Hauser, knowing that, didn't let his bid affect the way he played that disc.
They've developed such a great chemistry, telekinetic, even Burton and Hauser. Burton, 31 years old, played for Seattle Sockeye the past couple of years. Was part of the first Seattle Mixtape team that made it all the way to the finals at Nationals. Finished second, Megan, bunch of times, 2014 and 2015. Last year, eliminated in the quarters. And he asked Mark Burton why he rejoined this team. He said, these are my closest friends. This is what he was most passionate about. He wanted to try to help them win a title.
Mixtape really regards one another as family, and I think there are so many interesting points that we'll talk about throughout this game that make Mixtape the team that they are. Because if you look at their record, they're not blowing the competition out of the water, but they do seem to have what it takes to edge out other teams, even in really close matchups. I think there are a lot of variables that go into it. The love they have for one another, feeling as though this is a family, is one part of their success.
Ferguson's
Foul
throw
ball.
through the hands of Smith, but looked like a foul is going to keep the disc with Slow White.
No contest. The disc will stay with Slow White. Just set to put it in play.
And Slow White scores.
Alex Fahey to the end zone for Lexi Zalk in the Slow White score. We're all tied up at 2.
Perry alum makes it 2-all.
Great grab from Zalk. Watch as he reaches her arms out under defensive pressure to make sure that she is the one who's going to reel that disc in.
It's a good matchup with Jen Cogburn chasing Lexi Zalk. Keep our eyes on that.
And I talked a little bit about how Mixtape is good at staying toe-to-toe with the opposing team, but the same can be said about Slow White. They had a very fascinating matchup against BFG earlier in this tournament, where it was just trading points downwind all the way up to 11-11 before Slow White finally broke. But that's the kind of game that can really test or challenge a team's mental intensity, their ability to stick with it, stay in it, even though it is really tough to be tied with another team at nationals. And they did it for the vast majority of the game. And yet they managed to keep themselves in the game, kept pushing athletically, and ultimately walked away from that game with a win, giving themselves a much easier assignment the following day. They were done for the rest of Friday. Were able to walk into their next tournament a little more, their next game much more rested.
On serve for the first 4 points. Couple have been turnover free, couple points of each had 1 turnover per side, and Abby Abramovich through the contact, hauled in the tough, difficult catch. Burt, a little shove to Dan Glad. Makeda back to Kircher. Burt. Mark's going to be upset with himself. He didn't throw a few extra yards on that to the end zone, but he still pumps his fist when Makeda clinches the goal. Bolting into the small sliver of space to make it 3-2.
Makeda was another addition to this mixtape team this year. I mean, not only was that a crucial score, he even really helped generating some quick offensive momentum that entire point. This is the first year that Mixtape has held tryouts, and Makeda was a force to be reckoned with at those tryouts. He yelled at Cavallero for making apparently which was a poor decision, and the rest of Mixtape was really impressed that a tryout would be willing to hold a player accountable. They thought, this guy's gonna fit in well, and he really has.
Yep. Great experience in the mixed division for Makeda with Polar Bears, Blackbird, two of the Bay Area's mainstays. He often warms up in that old gear, and he's warmed up for games against Blackbird wearing Blackbird gear. His teammates are curious, wondering where his loyalties truly lie.
Just watch his performance on the field, and it's pretty obvious.
Slow centers to Smith. Tanner Johnson. Slow White, perhaps more than past years, has relied on its male players. Top 10 assist makers on Slow White here at Nationals have been men. Cam Bailey rushed it, and he knew it. Kavanaugh was open. Bailey had space to put it. He just didn't set his feet and take his balance.
Kavanaugh did everything he could, but that disc was too far.
Jeff Smith rips a backhand. Tommy Ferguson just shy of the goal line. And that'll work. Second goal for Salk. Smith and Ferguson did the heavy lifting though. But there was a call way back on Smith's backhand huck.
Travel called, it
10-12 seconds ago.
Throw.
That's tough news for Alexi, who was booking it down the field to be the continuation cutter.
Is overruled by the observer.
Travel call was overruled. Now are they going to let this goal stand? They're going to give it back.
Tommy
Ferguson.
Ferguson with the disc just outside of the end zone for
Should
Slow
have been a
White.
score. See if Slow White can punch it in regardless. Gives Mixtape another chance to play goal line D. As Tanner Johnson securing his second goal. So Johnson with a successful somersault. He's having himself a time. And he steals Lexi Zalk's score to make it 3-all.
Slow White being forced to thread the needle. The attempt before, Zalk went running straight back to the end zone. I think the defender thought that she was going to stop and cut back towards the disc. That gave Zalk the advantage. This time Zalk did stop close to the disc, rendering her closed. Tanner Johnson finished the job.
Young kid from Lexington, Massachusetts. And Ferguson's been a huge addition for this team. 32 years old, played at Duke with Jeff Smith, and joining Slow White this year, picking up the assist. Asked Marshall Goff what the team did all day. He said they were just playing games, making stuff up, hanging in the pool. He said, I was trying to keep them out of the sun and try to not allow them to use all their energy before they had to play tonight. Bolton launches. Milked a bit by Kai Fong. Back to Burton. With an active pivot, Burton buys himself some time. Oh, nice cut. Lonnie Wynn totally shook her defender on her cleats.
Very clever breakaway, and Mixtape is thrilled to have put another one on the board without having to fight under tight defensive pressure. Here we see that great rundown by Fong.
Where did she go?
All alone.
Lonnie Wynn was a Mixtape rookie last year. Previously played for Seattle Underground. Women of Seattle Underground broke seed here at 2017 Club Nationals. Burton picks up yet another assist. He has refined his game from the player he was back in 2014 when Mixtape first broke through. That was the year when he basically led the division in goals, assists, Ds, and turnovers. He had a lot of turnovers that year. Playing with Seattle Sockeye the past few seasons, really helped him focus on being a more conservative, conscientious player. But his vision has only continued to grow.
Yeah, we've seen him carry his lessons learned in the open division over to his performance for Mixtape really all season this year.
Ferguson needs something. Why not float it to the big 6'4" target, Alex Strahy? That'll work.
Tommy Ferguson to the end zone for Alex Strahy, and it's slow right score. We're all tied
Well
up at
played, 8
4.
points so far.
Yeah, Strahy capable of making far more athletic plays than that, but sometimes you don't need to rely on that. Just need to know that he has the height advantage. Gives himself the hockey assist.
Ferguson, quick release on that throw around his mark. So we are on serve, still no breaks. 5 of the first 8 points have been turnover-free, without question the cleanest ultimate we've seen so far today in the semifinals.
Again, I think that difference has come about as a result of the wind dying down just a little bit from earlier today.
Let's go, White!
Miles Montgomery Butler on the pull for
Miles
slow right.
Montgomery Butler will launch the pull. Miles' wife Emily victorious earlier today with Boston Brute Squad. Of course, we had the Boston sweep a year ago. Ironside, Brute, and Slow White. Could have 2 out of 3 in 2017. That's still a possibility. Not too shabby for Beantown on Saturday night.
Looking, Miles! Miles!
Foul called.
Our championship Sunday coverage starts at 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. It's an early 7 a.m. wake up for the Revolver fans out west. 2012 rematch between Revolver and Double Wide. Lots of parallels.
Wow.
It's a tough grab, but he wasn't in the end zone, so Hauser has to retreat. The stall count already is pretty high. They've gotten a contact call. It gets the reset to Burton. And there goes Kircher across the front line.
Burton in the end zone for
To break
Page
free for the score. Still on serve at 5-4.
That's Seattle 5, Boston 4.
Still no breaks, Megan.
Despite some really incredible defense from both teams. I mean, so many grabs are like that one. Through really tough but clean coverage. You have to think at some point this kind of defense is going to be rewarded. I guess Burton still feels confident enough to do the turnaway pass.
Yeah, you missed it the first time. Check out this swag.
That's confidence.
If you screw that up.
That wouldn't look so good.
Now, Mixtape doesn't have a head coach, so I'm not sure who would berate him. But if it works, it's impressive. El Salam with the goal. Smith quickly to Johnson. Easy yards early for Slow White. Lexi Zalk. Sent this one long. How about the defense there from Mixtape's Evan Klein? One of the captains of this team has really established himself this year, the Virginia Tech alum, originally from Charlotte.
Watch how hard he had to work to put himself into position to make that play. Closed out the distance between him and Ferguson, jumped at just the right time.
El Salam sending Henry Fan just shy of the goal line. And Fan hits Bailey for the game's first break at 6-4. The pride of Meeker Middle School, Cam Bailey, gives Seattle an edge.
What a put from El Salam, just an absolute beauty. And some fantastic celebration from a team known for keeping it loose, keeping it silly. That's part of their team culture. Another reason that I think they can withstand pressure of games like this one.
And it was Ari Lozano who's wearing number 7. Henry Fan usually wears, who picked up the assist.
Evan Kwan on that pole.
Important possession here for Slow White. Mixtape has finally thrown a punch, and there's an error, relatively unforced. Zoll had her hands on it. Would have been a tough catch, but she should have had it. This is how Mixtape gains momentum. Now it's Duffel. Z Chen. Tough grab on the near sideline. Lexi Garrity. And now Klein shoots it crossfield. Z Chen is there.
Evan Kwan in the end zone for Z10 in the
Mixtape
score.
employing inertia right now.
Boston 7.
Here in the
Seattle 7,
semifinals.
Boston 4.
And Klein having some very impactful play for Mixtape. Here's the turnover that led to Mixtape's possession. Klein put up one heck of a put. And Mixtape's on the board again.
Z Chen,
We have a
another
timeout on the field.
Mercer
Slow
Middle
White has
School
taken
product.
their first time out in the first half.
So many of these players go way back to middle school. El Salam, Bolton, Fan, Chen, Lozano. Seattle youth scene has done Mixtape well, and Slow White, understandably, takes time out.
As we've seen earlier today, these become the crucial moments early in the game when you find yourself at a deficit and aren't able to make the quick adjustments necessary. Mixtape is the type of team that's going to thrive on this momentum. They're not going to let this timeout stop the intensity we've seen. If anything, it's going to fuel them. So Slow White really needs to make some smart, strategic adjustments to their offense to keep the disc out of Mixtape's hands.
Calling the timeout allows Boston to keep its top O players out there. Lexi Zoll had the drop. We'll see if she can make amends. Todd Herman, who's had a huge weekend, has been quiet so far today. It's been Tommy Ferguson, Jeff Smith, Tanner Johnson, primarily for Boston.
Got a couple infractions cited on that last play. Technical foul to Mixtape for sideline infringement. TMF to Slow White for dangerous bidding on defense.
TMF for Slow White for dangerous bidding. Technical for Mixtape for sideline infringement. Both infringement at the moment, although if they do it again, they could experience the wrath of a yardage penalty.
No threat, under, Jen, no threat.
Pestering Johnson, who's now taking off. Montgomery Butler wants it. Johnson runs it down. That was not Montgomery Butler, beg your pardon, Steve Sullivan, the veteran who's been with Slow White from the beginning with a dime flick hook.
That's Seattle 7, Boston 5.
Time is right. Again, talking with Coach Goff before this game, he said between 16 and 17, Slow White lost a lot of experience, but they gained it. They gained a lot of youth and athleticism. I think one of those players, Tanner Johnson, is showing how a little athleticism goes a long way on a team like Slow.
He was tied with Todd Herman in goals coming into tonight, but 3 of the 5 Slow White goals to start this semifinal have vaulted him in front. Steve Sullivan, affectionately nicknamed Ornery by his teammates. No one has ever said that about Megan.
I'm very agreeable.
Well, not a jam-packed crowd here for this nighttime semifinal. Some energy from the folks that are here that have stuck around. And Revolver double wide at 10 a.m. tomorrow, and then and first the winner of this game at 12:30. Quick turnaround for the winner of this game, relatively. The women's final also set Fury and Brute Squad. Brute going for its 3rd straight title. Fury has not won in ages. They haven't won since last time we were here in Florida, when they won 7 times in a row, from 2006 to 2012. Hauser gets it to the end zone. Abramovich, the score and Mixtape with an 8-5 lead as they take half.
Going into this game, we knew Bladen would be set with some very difficult assignments. Abramovich, one of those assignments. Abramovich able to shake free to get the disc for Hauser, from Hauser.
Real solid first half from both teams. Mixtape, by my count, only turned it over 3 times in the entire half. Boston didn't play poorly, but Mixtape played great. That's why they lead 8-5 at halftime, the final mixed semifinal of the night.
We are excited to announce the winners of
8-5 Mixtape leading Slow White at the half. We were on serve through 5-4, and then back-to-back breaks from Seattle gave them the cushion that you now see. Really clean first half overall. The most turnovers we had on a point was 2 combined for both teams.
Yeah, I think you said it best when you said both teams played good, but Mixtape played just a little bit better. Their long throws were connecting. They were able to shake free from their defender, and even when things were really tight, they were able to make the play.
Strong first half for Ikeda. This throw from Jeff Smith was impressive, and Tommy Ferguson did a bunch of good things for Slow White. Ferguson connecting with Tanner Johnson, who towed the line for the score. At that point, it was 3-all. And then later, Trahey with the equalizer to make it 4-all. But it would not become 5-all, in part because Khalif El-Salam fired long for Ari Lozano. And then one more toss to Bailey to commence his unique celebration. Later, Hauser to Abramovich. 8-5 Seattle at the half. Great to be joined by Marshall Goff, head coach of Boston Slow White. I think Megan put it well. You guys aren't playing poorly. They're playing really well. How do you get back in it?
Well, I think we talked just briefly before the game about, one of the keys is we got to cherish our break opportunities. We had a few of them early in the game that we didn't put in. Tried a couple of, functionally trick passes, a couple of upside down things when if we work our legs off a little bit better, we'll get to throw a flat, easy pass into the end zone. And we got to cherish those opportunities. They're not that frequent.
Are there more dramatic adjustments you're going to make? Are you going to change up lines to try and make sure that your team capitalizes on those opportunities?
I don't think we need to change the line so much as we need to make sure that we're playing with the right attitude, especially at the end zone. A couple of times we got right to the end zone. And, that's my favorite thing as a coach is a turnover into the end zone on a break. I love that. But we're going to get ourselves some opportunities. We'll keep adjusting. I feel okay about the D we're playing right now. We're going to have to control. I mean, obviously they have really good mark breakers, and a couple of those points they got, inside out up the field, and we need to take that away, slow them down, make them go sideways, and put the pressure back on them.
Who does the team look to when they need an adjustment in attitude more than anything else?
Well, Jeff Smith's an adjustment in attitude a lot of the time, but also Tanner Johnson with a great voice in there, and we got a lot of good voices in there. Hannah Baranis is always positive, always encouraging, and always finding ways to help. And so, with voices like that and trying to win the voice up and down the sideline with the whole team, really, if we can do that, play 27-on-7 on D, we'll get ourselves some chances.
Marshall, we've seen you come back before. We know you'll give it all you've got. Go out there and have some fun.
Thanks very much, and thanks for what you guys are doing, too.
Appreciate you, Marshall. You got a pretty good twin brother as well. 8-5, Seattle leads Boston at the half. His twin brother Adam, by the way, is our statistician here in the booth. He's a gem. 8-5 Mixtape in front. Perhaps 3 halves away from a triple crown. Jen Coburn joins us down on the field. Jen, this was a back and forth game on serve through 5-4. What did you see as the key to finally breaking Slow White for the first time?
I think it's just continuous pressure, and we're always going to keep putting it on them, and they're just going to keep feeling it, and eventually they're going to break.
What are you guys feeling going into this second half? Sometimes as you get closer to your goal, the pressure mounts. Are you getting any sense of that, or is everyone still feeling good?
I don't think there's any pressure. We're just out here having fun. We just have a tendency sometimes to come out of slow out of half, and so that's our goal right now is not to do that. But at the end, we always know that we have trust that we're going to make the plays in the end. 7 more buckets, that's all we're at.
Missing some important players. Drew
Yeah.
Johnson, Dom Cavallero, player of year. Who's had to pick up the slack?
I think we all pick up the slack. We got 27 players on this roster, and so that's 24 more of us that are going to play. And so we're the deepest team out here, and it's showing right now.
Sometimes with the look, it feels like 77 players. We appreciate your time, Jen. Best of luck in the second half.
Thanks, Evan. 2 chains.
Jen City joining us at the half. Second half between Slow White and Mixtape. Final half of the day when we return to Sarasota. Tanner Johnson, Tommy Ferguson, and Mark Burt with numbers next to their names. That means they played fairly well in terms of producing for their respective teams. Slow White perhaps could use a little more variety in terms of having others find the end zone. That's what they're hoping to do here in the second half. One team trying to go back-to-back, another trying to win the Triple Crown. And those two things cannot happen simultaneously. Slow White on offense to start the second half. Rosiano sent it too far, intended for Herman. Smooth offense until.
Herman made a bid for that disc, but the wind took it just a little too high. There was no chance he was coming down with that.
This is Klein. I've seen him willing to jack it. Patiently finds Cogburn in the under. Back to Van. Marshall Goff told me before the game that we know they like the tactics. We have to control their deep game. It's a pretty impressive possession patience here for Mixtape. Travel called against Bailey, and looks like it will be upheld.
Travel ball is upheld by the observers. Just coming back to Cam Bailey. Coming in on
Slow White indeed doing a good job of taking away the long game. Mixtape doing a good job of taking the time to look underneath and find the shorter to mid game. So still advancing, not at the usual speed, but advancing nonetheless.
Klein threw it a little too far. Impressive effort by Cogburn, but she left from out of bounds. Couple yards short of it. That would have been spectacular.
Yeah.
We're putting in place in the time.
We had a game end on a Callahan earlier today, so it's not out of the realm of possibility to see a greatest before the night is over, before the clock strikes midnight. Was the clock striking midnight part of the Snow White story, or no?
That's Cinderella.
That's Cinderella, that's right. Cam Bailey. Every year his goal is to lead the tournament in layups. He wants to hit the ground more than anybody. And shows the patience to take the time out and catch his breath. Seattle trying to take a stranglehold on the second half. You'll see Bailey get horizontal here.
Herman was not prepared for that effort from Bailey.
It's interesting. These are two teams that pride themselves on having fun. Slow White talks about being weird. It looks like Mixtape's having more fun right now. Seattle flavor to the regular season of the Triple Crown Tour 2017. The three legs of the Triple Crown, the US Open, the Pro Championships, and Nationals. Mixtape garnering a #1 ranking, a #1 seed, and the status as favorite. And it's funny because they've had good regular seasons before. They finished second place at Nationals before. If they finish second place at Nationals this year, their regular season's probably not going to mean that much to them.
Certainly not. The Triple Crown is meaningful only if it's a win. And if it's not, then your wins at these tournaments really don't seem like anything. And that's what I think is so interesting, so unique about the Triple Crown is no one looks back and says, oh, well, they won at US Open, or oh, they won at Pro Champs. Then you just think, I guess the other team wasn't quite as developed. Again, Nationals is the final chapter of every season's story. And so you have to develop your program to peak here.
I'd love to save that video of Jesse Bolton, whatever he was doing during the timeout. It was something. Bolton was spending much of his day doing schoolwork. He said he was coding back at the hotel, getting some of that stress out. Evan Klein looks off one man, finds another. Bailey, two-handed push for Klein. And Bailey sneaks free, shakes his defender Trahey, and let the shakes start again.
Trahey did not make that easy for Cam Bailey.
That's bookends for Bailey.
Seattle 9, Boston 5.
Watch how many times Bailey has to cut back and forth to get open. Ultimately, it's a nice inside pass from Klein. That's called threading the needle. That's not an easy throw to execute. When you look back at that and say, Slow White, from a fundamental standpoint, did everything they could, did everything necessary to try and take away Mixtape's shot at the end zone line. But this team is clearly fired up and determined.
They've been on a mission all season long. And when you're winning, King Bailey's a fun guy to have on your team. When you're losing, he can be fun too, but
he's a different beast when winning.
absolutely. He's going to have much let up defensively here, at least if Bailey has anything to say about it.
It's not that bad,
Bolton with a boomerang backhand pull.
Oh, dude. Work, no big, work, strike, strike.
Looking for Johnson. And he's got it. Slow White needs more of that.
That's a beauty of a put. I think as soon as it went up, Bolton realized that he was not in good position. He tried to close the gap, but the shape of that disc made it impossible for him to jump in and make the play. And understandably, Johnson is fired up.
Vicky Chang with a good put. The 20-year-old Tower Tanner Johnson. Talked about it earlier in the season, Megan, when we covered Slow White at the U.S. Open. Tanner Johnson, the end of the college season, really wasn't sure what he was going to do for the club. He had basically 4 different options. He could play with Slow White again and try to go back-to-back. He could play with Ironside again, who he played with 2 years ago. Also, Boston Dig was an option with many of his UMass teammates, Ben Sedot, Jeff Babbitt, Ben Saitlin, others. Or he could take some time off and relax and gear up for the college season. And the pull of the Slow White Weird got him back into this mixed division for another year. Slow White Weird is a hard magnetic pull to deny. Interesting to see if Johnson gets switched over to defense down the stretch here. Try to use his speed and size to create a turnover or two, leading to a break, because we know Slow White needs a bunch of them.
Mixtape is really doing a nice job of stretching the field.
This shot intended for Abramovich, defended beautifully by Mia Bladen.
That's why she gets the tough assignments.
Bladen, by the way, a Seattle product.
You cannot argue with that put from Kircher.
Grew up in Seattle, went to Harvard, bringing her sunny demeanor to Boston. And Slow White has something cooking. Krieger unmarked. Gets rid of it anyway in the layout grab. Ryan Turner keeps it alive. Montgomery Butler. And a pick in that jumbled cluster down near the goal line.
We have a technical foul being issued.
Coming down 1?
Yeah.
Okay. On Mixtape.
After the game,
When you're ready.
4 for 1. We'll sort it out after the point.
Daring throw. And it works! Ryan Turner sandwiched by Mixtape defenders. His nickname is Gumby, and it took a little malleability to make this grab and transition. That's a Turner sandwich.
I believe it's a Waite sandwich.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Chris Waite deserves the credit.
That was a risky put. Dangerous, I might even say.
Another technical foul for sideline
Mixtape did
infringement.
their best to try and
That's
defend
their
it.
second technical. Watch it, guys.
Chris Waite played that beautifully.
First assist for Montgomery Butler. Took me a while to find Cam Bailey, but I could hear him.
He is an active sideline.
20 to pull, no offside.
Slow White was 0 for 2 on break chances in the first half. They convert their first opportunity here in the second. Mixtape 3 for 5 in the game. Breaks have been at a premium in this one. Burton initiates downfield. Fiona McKibben. Here's Hauser. Hauser to Burton, but Dan Glad thought he was fouled. It appears by Burton as he tried to shake free. Burton seems to agree, although it was signaled as a contested foul by the observer.
This goes back to Brad Hauser, coming in on 6.
Ball count at 6 for Hauser.
Inside the 2-minute route. Inside the 2-minute
Bolton in the
route.
backfield. They both go up the line, and Bolton, the trailing cutter, has it. To Burton. That's a nice put.
Burton to the end zone for Casey Akeda, and the Mixtape score. That's Seattle 10, Boston 7.
I've seen Ikeda play before and thought he was great. Tonight, he is on fire. He is moving quickly to the right spot, helping Mixtape keep things going.
Burton has to be one of the best at throwing with the right touch, the right angle, and still having the quick release that you need to hit those tight windows.
Well said. Yeah, the angle at which Ikeda was attacking that sideline meant that the lane Burton had was closing very, very quickly. But a skilled thrower like Burton, he was able to put the touch on necessary, and yeah, I think that's the kind of nuanced aspect to Burton's game that's kind of tricky to exhibit, to explain why it's so important.
It's hard to quantify.
Right. But that was a good example of it.
He's got a great field sense. And he has it as a thrower. He also has it as a receiver in the way he boxes out defenders who are going after him, the way he uses his body legally to carve out space. Sadly rebounded. This is Lexi Zoll to Johnson. Ferguson to Johnson. Slow White makes it look easy.
Tommy Ferguson in the end zone for Tanner Johnson in the slow right score.
They'll try to use some of their offensive players on D.
Slow White is certainly keeping it interesting. This is the kind of offense I'm sure Coach Goff was hoping for at the beginning of the game.
Winning with their legs.
Right. Keeping the disc moving. Knowing that they could have a slight advantage on Mixtape if they could just keep the disc ever so slightly ahead of their defenders.
frustrate El Salam, getting beat to the front cone like that. Johnson, a hard matchup for anybody. 5 goals out of Slow White's 8 total scores. Who do you think Amp would rather play tomorrow?
Honestly, I think they would rather play Slow White. I think Slow White is a little bit more of a known quantity. I also have to think that matching up against Mixtape on an emotional high is hard to tune out when you're trying to get your team back on the board.
It's interesting. Slow White might be the more stable team, whereas Mixtape might have the higher ceiling and the lower floor. Mixtape has been more consistent throughout this season, though, especially closing out close games down the stretch. Bolton shooting it for Hauser. Will it stay inbounds? Yes, but shy of the goal line. Excellent defense by Hannah Baranis. And even great defense there too. Caitlin Fitzgerald denies the up-line shot.
I know Burton has faith in his teammates, but I was a little shocked to put that. Fitzgerald was in prime position to make that play.
Grab an injury on the play.
That's just the 6th turnover of the game for Seattle Mixtape. Here on the 19th point of the game.
Ryan Turner on for Slow. Jesse Bolton off.
Jersey save, men live, women live.
For Mixtape, Kai Fong on the field.
Something we would all do well to keep in mind.
Trust the buckets. Johnson launching. Great defense by Hauser. He had position.
Impressive closing.
Fred Hauser with the lead for Mixtape.
For Turner.
Coming back to pick up.
Looked like a surefire goal. When the disc first went sailing, Hauser recognized, closed the gap in an instant.
Miscommunication there. Hauser thought Abramovich was coming under. She did not. An easy interception for Mia Bladen. Johnson looking cross field. He just laid it up there for him. That is a costly mistake for Tanner Johnson.
Coach Goff talked about how crucial it would be for them to take care and cherish the disc when they got those blocks. Seems like some of the issues from the first half are still playing slower.
Great grab there by Fiona McKibben. Pick ball downfield, but it'll stay with Burton. Burton looking like a hockey enforcer who has been through a bunch of brutal battles on the ice. Contact call, resetting the count, and that throw snuck through the crevice to get to Burton, and then he dropped it. And the deep shot was again overly ambitious, just simply rushed it. Not Captain Butler.
You can see how he thought he had an open target in Baranis. But but there was way too much space for defenders to come in and make a play, and didn't execute the throw well enough for it to stay locked up for Baranas to even have a shot.
Second and final timeout
on this point. That's double the most turns on any other point in this match. Timeout taken understandably. They've been out there for a while at 10-8. It's been a quick moving game. We're still about 20 minutes away from the soft cap. In the mixed division, semifinalists included the 1, 2, 4, and 5 seed. Of course, who's missing? Dragon Thrust. The first time they've missed the semis since 2011. A 5-year run that included 3 titles, 2013, 2014, and 2015 for Dragon Thrust. Still a strong squad, no question about it, but ran out of steam against Slow White. They were unfortunately locked into a 3-team tiebreaker in their pool with Shane. And Shane won the pool on like the 7th tiebreaker to face BFG. Of course, who knows what's going to happen to Dragons to face BFG in the quarter. That was an interesting game too. Play full play, you see how the teams slot in, and that's in a whole new tournament. Callahan here would be exciting. Probably not going to happen with this throw. And Hauser elevates. And his put is perfect. And Mark Burton posing for the camera in the back corner of the end zone. And posing for Alex Duffle's camera in his own imagination.
What a heartbreaking turn of events for Slow White. What an incredible grab from Hauser. He jumped up and looks as though he floats for a second to make that grab. Mark Burton rushing in to finish out that play. No defender in sight. Burton realizes he can finish this point, which just 2 throws before was in Callahan territory for Slow White.
Before that point, Slow White had only had 3 break opportunities the entire game. They were 1 for 3. On that point alone, they had 3 break opportunities. They were 0 for 3. And Seattle converts. Hauser to Burton.
Tim Bailey on the pole for Mixtape.
There's still time. Slow White still has firepower, but that felt like a huge momentum swing.
There's certainly time, but mentally, that's a difficult point to get over. They had the chances. They had Mixtape pushed back into their end zone. Mixtape came out victorious.
Johnson unmarked for the moment. Johnson for Caitlin Go. Arrow, Lexington, Massachusetts products. For Slow White, 9 score. A turnover-free hold to get them within 2 again.
I very much like Slow White's energy, that offensive point. Every single person on the field was working very hard, and no one even looked like they were tempted to do something overly ambitious or heroic. Everyone was just in their spaces, cutting hard. No one had to look very hard to see an open cut. That was a very calm, chilly response from Slow White after what could have been a very dejected point.
here in the second half especially, the offense has not been the issue. Have not converted enough opportunities.
The offense did the work as you expect them to. Now it's up to the defense to get back on the field, pick their heads up, and try and generate more opportunities. This is still a close game, even though energetically it feels like Mixtape has the advantage.
Chris Wade on the ball for slow right.
Chris Wade to launch. Still about 14.5 minutes away from the soft cap. To Bolton. Abramovich, nice touch. Nick Dare. What he called contact to Burton. Lonnie Wynn. Pretty stuff. Smooth Seattle offense.
12, Boston 9.
I really like watching Abramovich. She is tough to mark in very tiny spaces. Here you see everyone working to just march the disc down the field. Some really frantic defense from Slow White. Here we'll see Abramovich cut across the top of the end zone to get the score.
Well, last year, of course, Seattle had the disappointing end to their season in the quarters, and that was late September last year. National held a little earlier. A bunch of players on Mixtape were playing the Halloween tournament in and around Seattle. They played a game against Abby Abramovich tournament, and in Captain's words, she just destroyed us. We begged her to be on our team next year, and they got her.
I'm sure they're very thankful for her.
Laser beam shot, and how about that possession? A thing of beauty. Culminates with Salt finding Ferguson. But how about the panache of Caitlin Joe, who helped Stanford Superfly win a national title a couple years back with aggressive and confident shots like this. Safe.
Thrown as she's turning from her catch. That means she has to know exactly what's going on downfield as she makes that grab, because she is immediately turning to launch that. And not too shabby of a higher lace backhand from Zalk as well. That's a good shot. So again, Slow White's offense does good work. Back to the defense to try and get a break as we find the score inching ever closer to 15.
Boston, as the Counting Crows might say, hanging around. 12-10, 10.5 minutes away from the soft cap. Might not be a factor today.
Montgomery Butler on the pull for Slow White. Offside.
Looks like an offensive offside, which you don't see very often. back when you and I were playing college ultimate, especially observers were not that big of a deal. I remember the first time I ever played a game with observers, I didn't realize you had to stand on the line. I thought you could stand in the end zone, like further back. And I had an observer chastise me for not standing on the line. Learned a rule that day.
And I'm sure you never forgot it.
Yeah, when you're chastised by an observer, you don't forget.
Right. Nice time from both.
White has mixed it up with his own here, but again, smooth offense into the red zone for Mixtape. Just continue to make, for the most part, excellent decisions with the disc, and they execute. Smooth fundamentals. Kircher, 13-10, fourth consecutive turnover-free point. Turnover free, 6 of the last 7 here in the second half.
It was a good defensive decision from Slow White to try and put on this zone. It did make Mixtape look once, look twice. And even when it appeared like Mixtape had busted through the defense, Slow White was pretty quick to recover. It wasn't like they took it away. But they weren't able to take it away.
Mixtape now 12 of 15 in the red zone in this game. They've only had 1 goal on a huck, and they've had several hucks that have landed just shy of the goal line. That counts in our official stat keeping as a red zone possession, as it should. Seattle having fun. They're 2 points away from a trip back to the finals. The Slow White have something special. Oh, that was unique, and then almost a conservation of greatness, but kept alive by Caitlin Go. A helter-skelter possession. Is this going to work? No, Jen sitting in the zip code for the Mixtape D.
Just kept alive almost improbably throughout that point. But clearly not magical, as Cogburn just exhibited.
Cold deep shot, tipped by Go, caught by Fan. And then one more, Smith did everything but touchdown. It was not enough. Lexi Garrity with the score for Seattle.
That was insane.
That's Seattle 14, Boston 10.
Kevin Line puts up quite a dime to some tough coverage. Saved by Fan and almost D'd by Slow White, but somehow kept alive by Garrity.
Disbelief from Smith. And at the other end, Cogburn ending what would, to that point, have been a magical possession for Slow White. Wow, what a wild point to make it 14-10. And Mixtape's on the brink of returning to the finals for the 3rd time in 4 years.
First goal tonight, and what a goal. I will certainly not be forgetting that play anytime soon.
It looked like Smith was going to get there, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure Fan thought, oh great, it should have put more zip on it. I don't know how she kept that disc in her sights.
Wild stuff. Must score time for Boston. Sullivan to Johnson. To the end zone. Ooh. Khalif El-Salam will want that bid back. Thankfully, Tommy Ferguson's okay. And it's 14-11. And Seattle will be on offense with a chance to win it.
El-Salam betting when he really didn't have a position or a chance to make that bid. He would have to go through Ferguson and very nearly tries to.
To Khalif's credit, he realized that midway through and raised himself, and that could have been much worse if it was even more reckless. Not to compliment him for it, because it was a mistake initially, but you get the idea. Big game for Ferguson. Mixtape in prime position.
Yeah, Ferguson showing that you simply cannot apply enough pressure on him to make him drop the disc.
See Tanner Johnson on defense here. Along with Andy Schafter and Pat Marin, Lexi Salt, Caitlin Fitzgerald, Mia Bladen. For Seattle Mixtape, we saw Kai Fong, Bolton, Hauser, Burton, Kircher, Ababovich, and Wynn. Except for that 1 point when Mixtape turned it over 3 times. Still ended up scoring, by the way. Only 5 other turnovers in the entire game, and no point where Mixtape has turned over more than once all game long.
It has been a very clean game, and in general, you can expect nice offense from Mixtape. They usually have a set that they're looking to do coming right off the pull, but then it's just unorthodox play that's bolstered by their chemistry.
Bolton wants Kircher. Johnson can't get it, and Seattle's on its way to the finals again. Mixtape thinking about a triple crown. As Johnson misplays it, and Kircher hauls in the game-clinching score.
Seattle Mixtape 15. Boston Slow White 11.
For sure, Johnson.
Great game, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Kircher has more faith. Shades just a little bit left to make this fantastic one-handed grab.
Only the 2nd time in the game that Mixtape scored on a huck. And they wrap up a berth in the finals. There will not be a repeat champ.
All right, everybody, there you have it.
In fact, there will be a first-time champ in the mixed division, with AMP and Mixtape each gunning for their first club title. Seattle takes it 15-11 over Boston.
For the championship in the mixed division. We'll get things started at 10 a.m. in the men's division.
The USA Ultimate National Championships are presented by Discraft Ultrastar. Find the official disc of USA Ultimate at more than 1,900 U.S. retail locations. Seattle Mixtape victorious. The Triple Crown dream still alive. Boston will not repeat in the mixed division this year. And Mark Burton, who was with Mixtape a couple years ago, he had some unfinished business. You are back. How does it feel heading into tomorrow, Mark?
Amazing. Just put it that way. This is a dream. This is what I expected when I joined Mixtape again this season. I knew we had the talent to really push at a spot of Worlds, as well as take our first and hopefully one of many national championships. So it's just, again, amazing time.
How did you guys keep up that level of intensity for the entire game? I don't feel like you had a lull at all.
We've been riding it. We've been riding the wave, and as many of you know, whoever plays Ultimate, if you catch it, you keep riding it, nothing's going to get in your way. And I feel like that is us. I think we've done everything to prepare ourselves all season long. We've done baby steps that's left us where we're at today, and we got one more. We ain't done, even though we kept saying this is our finals game, because Slow White was kind of a tough one this season. But this is our finals day, even though we got one more tomorrow, and we're ready.
Mark, you had your fair share of moments. What did you see when Lexi Garrity made that juggling, tumbling catch?
She has been incredible this season. She's grown from 2014 when she was one of our players who saw some PT but not quite a lot, and she's one of our star ladies out there and have worked her butt off. She deserves all the credit in the world for that. She has great eyes for the disc and will never give up on a play. And she was definitely, I saw it go up, and I'm like, Lexi's going to get that, and she got it.
Lastly, AMP tomorrow for the whole enchilada. Your thoughts on playing the men and women from Philadelphia?
Get ready. There's a lot more to come. You ain't saying nothing. This was nothing compared to what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean that. I love AMP. They're competitors, but we're prepped. We're ready, and I know they're going to bring it all, and we're going to bring it all. It's going to be one of the best mixed games you'll see. I promise you that.
By my count, you got just under 15 hours before the opening poll. So go get some food, some hydration, some rest. We'll see you tomorrow, Mark.
I appreciate it. We're going to listen to some 2 Chainz by the end of the night as well.
Enjoy. Thank you. Congratulations to the Seattle Mixtape and Mark Burton back in the mixed division. Again, our Discraft play of the game. Plenty of wild sequences in this one. How about Jeff Smith going all out, a clean bid. He may have nicked it just slightly, but it was not enough. And Lexi Garrity, what can you say?
There's nothing to say. Keeping her wits about her as she jostled and tumbled to the ground. I mean, that's the stuff champions are made of. That kind of fortitude right there.
Focus and concentration to get the job done. That's what Discraft is all about as well. Top 2 seeds have found their way to Sunday in the mixed division. Mixtape and AMP. The only division we get 1 versus 2, and it's at 12:30 Eastern tomorrow. AMP did beat Mixtape once this year, back on July 9th, a 13-12 win for AMP. Mixtape got a 15-9 win at the US Open. And tomorrow will be the rubber match. Our Championship Sunday coverage will start at 10 a.m. with Revolver and Double Wide, a familiar matchup here in Sarasota, and then Fury and Brute, and then Mixtape and AMP. It has been a pleasure to bring you semifinal Saturday here from Sarasota. For now, we say good night as Mixtape gets the win to dethrone Boston Slow White. For Megan Tormey and our entire crew, Evan Leffler saying good night from Florida. We'll see you tomorrow. 3 championships on the line nationally.